Hey everyone, the video you're about to see is a demonstration of a police department that shines above all others. Now this is going to be the first of its kind of a video that I'm producing. I've never had the opportunity to do this, and I believe that it's time that we shine the light on a good police department. So Olmos Park and Leon Valley and all of your officers, including Chief Valenciano, Hector Ruiz, and Chief Savaggio of Leon Valley, you guys take note, and hopefully you terrorists will learn how a good police department operates. I'll be highlighting the Universal City Police Department in this video. Now, any police department out there that has auditors in your community, you should reach out to your auditors in an attempt to bridge the gap between your PD and the auditor. Now, we've heard Savaggio call auditors anarchists. You know, auditors are not anarchists. They're simply a citizen that wants oversight and transparency from their police and their government officials. You know, the auditor can be a great place for a starting point for police departments to begin building relationships with your community. You know, there's no need for corrupt, coward police departments to raid auditors' homes in the dark of night. There's no reason to issue arrest warrants on auditors weeks later simply because the auditor was exercising their rights. This is the coward way of operating. Why not reach out to the auditor that made the complaint, or recorded your police station, or exercised their Second Amendment right? Why not try and bridge the gap? But you know, some cops' egos just won't let them do the right thing. Chief Savaggio, Chief Valenciano, those are the egomaniacs that run roughshod over their citizens in their cities. Now, on October 28, 2018, I was recording a police activity in Universal City, Texas, when I was approached by Sergeant Rios of Universal City Police Department. As you all saw in the original video, Sergeant Rios attempted to suppress my First Amendment right to document what was happening. At which point, in my opinion, I seized control of the situation. A few hours later, I visited the Universal City PD on that same day, which was a Sunday. And accompanying me was TX Sheepdog 72. Now, our main reason that we went there was to address the 3006, 3007 signage that they have in front of the police station. Several citizens had brought that to our attention. So here's how that visit went.
So this is how it works. These are your 30-06, 30-07 signs. So this sign right here is 30-06, 30.06. And this one here is 30.07. This one says that pursuant to 306 of the Penal Code, it is, which is called trespass by license holder with a concealed handgun. A person licensed under Chapter 411 may not enter this property with a concealed handgun. This one says a person licensed under 411 may not enter this property with a handgun that's carried openly. So it says no concealed handguns, no open handguns. And we're talking about handguns only. Right here it says handgun, handguns only. This doesn't apply to rifles and knives and things like that. This is talking about handguns that a person carries under a license that issued by Texas by authority of Chapter 411. 306, 307 is the Penal Code subsections that make it illegal, according to this sign, to walk into this, may not enter this property. Now the law defines it as premises, and premises would be inside the building, and technically, as I understand it, underneath this part here of the building. Even though this is open, but out here it's legal. Parking lot, sidewalks, driveway is legal at a police department. Now, it would be illegal for me to walk inside those doors. That's court administration and its municipal court offices. But it's not illegal under these signs. It's illegal under 4603. It's a felony to walk in there with any kind of weapon, handgun, rifle, knife, any kind of weapon. Illegal. Felony. The whole thing here, and it gets confusing. The moral of the story is these signs, according to chapter 411, cannot be up here. If they don't want people to walk into the court, they don't have to, but they could put up a 4603 sign. But anyway, so these signs are no good. The main thing is that there are signs over here at the police department entrance. So the problem is that there's signs at the police department entrance. It's the same signs, and it's at the police department entrance.
They do have a 411 sign right there.
Right, so we'll get in that in a second. So again, here's where the issue is. You have a police department only, and there's nothing else on this door that indicates this is nothing other than the police department through that door. But they have signs here saying that under 306, 307, you can't go in there. Well, chapter 411 says they can't put up these signs to prohibit me from going in this door. They got it halfway right. They have another sign, and it's a sign over here. This sign right here, this is a proper sign. This is a completely proper sign, and basically it says, a peace officer may temporarily disarm a license holder when the license holder enters the non-public secure portion of the facility. And that is correct. If I go into the police department here, and there's a public area, let's say the door, I don't even know if the door's unlocked or what, but if it were unlocked and open to the public, I can walk in there with my handgun if I have a license to carry it. But if they're gonna, let's say, take me to the back where the public's not allowed, they're authorized to disarm me until I leave the secure area. Then I have to get my gun back. And not only that, but it doesn't say it on the sign, and they're not required to put it on the sign. But if they're gonna do this, then they also have to provide a locker for me to put the gun in. I get the key. When I leave, I get it myself and I leave. So that's how that works.
So at this point, Jack, I think the safest thing for us to do at this point is for me to, first of all, see if that door is unlocked and if I can go in there. I'll go in there. I'm not armed, guys. However, let me go in there and ask the question, is this a public area?
Well, I mean, if it's
right.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But to me,
I mean, I don't want to, I'm just trying to prevent a predicament here.
You guys can hear us how our process. Anyway, I mean, to me personally, the way I feel is that they don't have anything on here that indicates it's a restricted area or not accessible to the public. I mean, they don't have to put up a sign that says restricted area. They can just lock the door if they wanted.
Right.
But to me, if there's nothing saying it's restricted, it says police department. There's not any kind of intercoms out here or anything like that.
There's no mag locks. There's no badge swiping. There's nothing.
To me, it looks like a smoking area because they do have an ashtray here. But I think they're trying to kind of get the laws correct. They're only halfway doing it because you can't come in with a handgun, but they got this sign that they can disarm you if you do. That don't make sense. And then I know Universal City has ordinances against smoking within a certain amount of feet from doors, but they got an ashtray at the door. So, well, let's go in and educate them and get them on the right path. The path of righteousness when it comes to like laws and things like that.
All right.
So no lock on the door or anything like that, and it appears to be the lobby. I see a restroom.
I see water. I see a water fountain.
So that's the records window, I guess, police records, and then and dispatch. So it just looks like dispatch and warrants. Over here, so they do have some restrooms here in the lobby.
And
this door is the inside door that appears to go to the court area. And also, it looks inside, because this is the entrance, this is the area where that door that says municipal court and administration.
And also,
I can also see over here.
I want to point out also, Jack, if you're on the other side of the door, you can see police department written. It's backwards to us, but if you're on the other side of the door,
right here.
it would indicate to anyone coming from that side that you're entering the police department.
Right. So this door is obviously locked because they don't want you going inside that portion of the building. But yeah, coming in here, just like Todd said, it does say police department coming this way. And if you guys notice, on the other side of the doors, the outside doors are over there, the ones that say municipal court. But if you notice right there, it says water department as well. So from what I can tell from where I'm standing, it seems like there's city administration. Well, it's just a generic word that says administration. So I don't know if that's court administration, city administration. We'll find that out later. But they do have the water department, as well as, I really can't see anything that says court, but right here where I'm pointing at, that appears to be the courtroom itself with the door over there where the metal detector is. Is there like well, I'm here because of the 306, 307 signs. I just need to give notice to the city in writing that they're in violation of chapter 411 and they need to be removed. I do this all the time. I simply give the notice to an official. I take a snapshot of it, hand it to you, and then I roll. So it's kind of, can we go right outside? It's hot in here. Can we step outside? It's hot in here. Can we just right outside?
Yeah, you can wait outside for
Yeah, just right out here.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, what's going on, man?
How you doing? I'm Jeff to meet you.
Todd, nice to meet you, man. I think we've met before, bud.
Yeah, we probably not, but yeah, I know.
How long you been here?
About 7 years now. So
Okay, well, man, surely we've met before, man.
maybe.
Without taking up too much of your time,
Yes,
we're activists, so there's two reasons I'm here today. One is to do a complaint, let you know about something that happened that I need to complain about. The other one is these signs. A few years ago, how long have you been here?
7 years.
Okay. So a few years ago, I came in and I complained to the Attorney General about the 306, 307 signs. And at the time, the 411 sign wasn't up. So the 306 came down, 411s went up, and we were good to go. But the 306 came back up again. Somebody called me and said, hey, they got their signs back up.
Right.
So I'm a reasonable person. I don't know if you know this, but 411 makes that sign there, 307, it makes it a violation of 411. And so when the citizen sees that, 411 says, I gotta come and tell the city first. I gotta give them notice. Generally, I'll write that on the police complaint form and just hand it to you, hand it to somebody. Then you got 3 days to come into compliance. Then after 3 days, if they're still up, then and only then can I tell the Attorney General, hey, they still got the signs up, and file that complaint. And then they get a hold of the city and say, take them down. They give them 15 days.
Right.
And then they go forward with whatever they do. So anyway, I'm here to give that notice. That the 306, 307 signs, it's under wrongful exclusion of a handgun license. And basically it says you can't exclude me from public areas. Like the police department. Now, the court, it's a different story.
Right.
But it's not 306, 307. It's actually 4603 that prevents me from going in there, and you don't even have to put up signs. It's just against the law. It's period. You can make the arrest. But going into the public area of the police department is a different story. So I would just ask that you guys take down the 306, 307 signs, or if you're not sure about it, read that chapter.
Right. I do recall. I don't know if it was you that made the initial.
One, yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
was part of that.
So I do recall that.
I started doing it as soon as open carry started.
Which is
All over the place.
I understand. Yeah. Like I said, I've seen some videos of this. You guys are
Anyway,
getting after it. So it's
I'll write that down and give it to maybe the dispatcher to get to you.
Sure.
Or something.
Yeah.
It was in the HEB gas station parking lot.
Okay.
Now, like you said, you watch our videos, man. You see that I've been filming you guys for almost 5 years, man.
Yes, sir.
With this department, I've never had a bad interaction with any of your officers. Not a single one. You guys have always been on point, and I just feel like, I think he might have overstepped his bounds a little bit.
Maybe you don't know.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't know. And I know you guys are probably the same rank. He was a sergeant also.
Right, yes, sir. Yeah.
So it's probably not much you can
know.
do. I was using foul language. Once he approached me, okay,
Back over there.
listen,
He
man.
was telling them to get away.
Listen, man.
Right.
When I film you guys, I never start a conversation. I never interact with you guys unless you interact with me first.
Right.
And if it can go one or two ways. We can have a cordial conversation. Or you can try to overstep your bounds, and me as a civil rights activist, I'm not gonna take it.
Sure.
I'm not gonna let you bully me. Okay, so that's the point it got to today. I don't want to make official complaint, Jack. Honestly, I don't think we need to.
We don't have to make it official if we can bring it to somebody's attention.
Yeah.
I can forward it to my supervisor. And
a lot of
Yeah.
times-
The video is going to be on YouTube tomorrow morning. There's already a preview of it on my channel. So I mean, I don't know if you know my channel, but
So he doesn't.
seen a lot
he
of
doesn't
it.
know about. He figured this out.
I've even wrote the chief an email before about how good you guys officers are.
I saw y'all did a review. It was pretty cool. And I think you said Shirts was number 1. They got the second around here. You know, the small.
Yeah, yeah,
East
yeah.
area, so it's cool. And the guys did well out there.
I mean,
in Randolph and stuff.
you know, we highlight the good and the bad, man. If you guys are doing great, we're still gonna put it up, man. You know,
I appreciate your time.
man. You
Yes,
too,
sir.
bud. You
I've
too,
seen
man.
a few
What was your name
like
again?
Joseph Esquivel. Yeah.
Oh man, thank you, man.
So, like,
Thank you for being so cordial, man, and
Yeah,
professional.
No problem. Like I said, it's cool to meet you guys and talk to you.
There'll be a video. Just try to address it, and then we can do another video saying, hey, you know what they addressed it.
Sure, no, absolutely. I will forward it to his lieutenant, so she'll
I mean,
probably contact you.
I gave him a pretty bad tongue lashing, man. So he's not, I made him look pretty bad, man. So
I'll get the paper and just write down the 411 complaint.
Cool. Yeah.
okay, guys, that pretty much concludes the visit that we had at the Universal City Police Department on that day. So a couple days later, I wrote the chief an email, and I'm going to go ahead and share the emails with you and the response that I got back. So the first part of the email says, "Good afternoon, Chief. My name is Todd Ferguson. I own the YouTube channel SA Ecstasy Prez, and I recorded the interaction between Sergeant Rios and myself on Sunday, October 28th at the HEB on Kitty Hawk Road. You and your department may or may not have received numerous phone calls or communication from members of my audience that have watched the video. I have nearly 500 videos on my channel, and out of those, there are at least a dozen or so that feature UCPD officers performing their duties. I must say and commend your officers for their professionalism in all of my past videos. I have never had a single issue with any of your officers. If I had to rate your department as to how well I have witnessed them interact with the public and myself, I would say it is the best PD that I've ever had the pleasure of dealing with. The officers of your PD seem to be well versed and trained in the rights of citizens to record from a public space. Now, as far as how the interaction with Sergeant Rios went, I have a couple of questions, and I would also like to get a statement from you as to how we can move forward so that this type of interaction doesn't occur again. It is not my intent to make a formal complaint against Sergeant Rios. I do not think it is warranted at this time, and I would like to think that it has been addressed. I did visit the PD on Sunday and spoke with the sergeant on duty, and he was very professional and understanding. It was a positive interaction, which I will post a video of that interaction on my channel. Going forward, I have a couple of questions and concerns. 1. Why is one of your officers, namely Sergeant Rios, implying that he can take actions that amounts to criminal sanctions against a citizen who is not breaking the law? Do you stand by what Sergeant Rios implied, and that is, standing there silently recording as I was could result in me being charged with interfering with duties? 2. Using the profanity that I used towards Sergeant Rios. Does UCPD agree that using the profanity that I used could result in criminal charges? It is my stance for the disorderly conduct that there is absolutely and unequivocally could never be a criminal charge lodged against me for using profanity towards one of your officers such as I did. If your answer is yes, how about we sit down so you can hear what I think, so you can hear why I think the way I think. Change my mind. I might be right or I could be wrong. I have had disorderly conduct charges dismissed for interacting with officers the same way that I interacted with Sergeant Rios. I would like to get a statement from you as to what UCPD has done to address what occurred in the video, whether it be educating me, the cameraman, or Sergeant Rios. Because one of us was wrong, and there is definitely a miscommunication as to what is right and wrong, and I would like to know if UCPD is going to take an active approach to bridge that gap. There are officers that think a citizen can be charged for filming, and there are photographers that think they cannot be charged. I would like to think that we can come to an understanding before it exposes everyone at risk, citizens and the PD, for criminal or civil actions. I will be doing a follow-up video as to what occurred and that I reached out to you for a statement. It is my opinion that UCPD would much rather be shown in a positive light in addressing these concerns, not just for me, but for everyone involved, including the YouTube audience. As I said above, I have always had a good rapport with your officers and would like to continue going forward. Thank you for your time and consideration. Respectfully, Todd Ferguson. Now, guys, the next day I got a response to that email, and it was from the assistant chief. And he writes to me and says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Ferguson. My chief has directed me to respond to your email concerns. Let me begin by saying thank you for the positive remarks you mentioned regarding our department. We strive very hard to see our officers conduct themselves accordingly and respectfully when dealing with the public at all times. We are familiar with your social media postings and appreciate you reporting the positive encounters you and your group have had when dealing with our officers. I spoke with Mr. Jack Miller yesterday, and we discussed several issues regarding your and Sergeant Rios' incident, as well as the currently posted 3006 and 3007 signage at our City Hall complex. I will address your questions in the order you provided. 1. In answer to your first question, no, there will never be an arrest of a citizen recording our interactions with the public. Now, that being said, I'm sure you're familiar with Penal Code Section 38.15, which outlines that one may be subject to arrest for interference with public duties if that person with criminal negligence interrupts, disrupts, impedes, or interferes with a peace officer while the officer is conducting a lawful duty. In your incident, it is our position that you were not acting in a manner that falls under a violation of that offense. 2. With regard to profanity using during this incident, while we never condone such language towards our officers, you will not be arrested for such actions. The Supreme Court has addressed this issue in the past and has stated simply that using profane language toward a public servant does not constitute a criminal charge of the person using the language. That being said, if a member of the general public were to overhear such profane language and were offended by such language, they may file a misdemeanor complaint against the person using such language. Now, I will be addressing that in the future with the assistant chief. That's a whole nother subject. You know, if someone is offended by my language, by my speech, they can file a criminal complaint. So we'll address that at another time. That's something I do disagree with. So 3, in regard to what we have done as an agency since this incident has occurred. Now, guys, this is where Universal City PD begins to shine. Sometime back, we became aware of the incidents involving First and Second Amendment auditors' interactions with both the Leon Valley Police Department and the Olmos Park Police Department. Due to those incidents, our police chief directed one of our staff instructors to prepare an outline training course on dealing with both First and Second Amendment auditors, as well as the groups who videotape and post police interactions on social media. He directed all officers of our department to attend the mandatory 2-hour in-house training course. We just completed those training sessions yesterday. Unfortunately, Sergeant Rios was not scheduled for his training until this past Monday. I believe if he had had the class overview prior to your interaction, the result would have been different. As I stated previously, we strive hard to maintain a positive image at all times, and we will continue to do so. In closing, I hope I have answered your concerns accordingly. It is my belief that the incident that took place was simply a case of a supervisor who was dealing with a sensitive call and who was attempting to keep the scene under control. While his approach towards you was not a violation of departmental policy, I admit he should have handled it differently. You stated in your email you would like to do a follow-up on this matter, and I hope you will do so. I have no doubt we will continue to have good relations with your group going forward. Thank you for taking the time to address your concerns with us, and as I stated, I hope my answers have cleared your comments. Bill Gabbard, Assistant Chief of Police, Universal City Police Department. Now guys, I've never had a response from a police officer or police department as I got from Universal City. Yes, Sergeant Rios overstepped his bounds in my opinion, and the police department stepped up, addressed it, and I believe that Universal City Police Department is still a great police department. I've always said that in the past about them, and for them to want to continue having good relations with First and Second Amendment auditors says a whole lot about this department and their chief. So I want to thank Universal City Police Department for their response in this matter, and our group will continue to strive to work with you guys. And if you guys ever have any concerns, Universal Police Department, you guys know how to reach out to us. If there's something in the community that you would like to have help with concerning citizens and police relations, we'll be more than happy to step in and help. All right, guys, SA Ecstasy Prez, I hope you enjoyed the video. Once again, thank you, Universal City Police Department, for being a stand-up police department. Olmos Park and Leon Valley Police Department need to take a play out of the Universal City playbook. This is how you interact with auditors. This is how you bridge the gap between auditors and the police department and the police and the community. Again, guys, thank you very much. SA Ecstasy Prez out.
This is how we do